gon' respect it cause this is West Texas. Woo!
Friday night was no doubt a must-win for the Central Bobcats, and I tell you what, they gave us a scare in the first half, but the second half was all about the kids from West Texas, Ashton Hartsfield, a big part of this comeback, coming through with 2 huge touchdowns in the fourth as the Bobcats kept their name in the playoff race, beating LD Bell 42-21. Well, hello and welcome to the Cover One Studios. I'm Manny Diaz. Well, one thing's for sure, it ain't over until it's over when it comes to the Central Bobcats. Coming up, we'll hear from the Cats following this exciting win in Week 9. Plus, my 2 cents on how the chips are stacked against the Cats, but how this entire roller coaster of a season could benefit them heading into the regular season finale against Haltom. But first things first, how about those Twisted Root highlights? Let's get to the goods. The Bobcats in a must-win kind of game to keep their playoff hopes alive, hosting LD Bell. Fast forward to the second quarter following a stalemate of an opening frame. Here the Blue Raiders get something going as Sage Thomas gets loose for a 26-yard gain. A few plays later, it's Christian Gaddison who caps off the drive for a 3-yard touchdown for the first points of the game, making it 7-0 Bell. Ensuing Central drive, the Cats get a little something together as Malachi Brown finds Tanner Dabbert over the middle for the big gain and a Cats first down. Very next play, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Brown to Dabbert, and that's a 19-yard touchdown, game tied at 7. But the Blue Raiders answered back in the form of Sage Thomas for the big gainer deep in the heart of Central territory, would lead to a Bell touchdown to make it 14-7 Blue Raiders. Next Bobcats drive, holla at your boy, Malachi Brown. This guy always a big play waiting to happen, and here ad-libbing to the tune of a 34-yard touchdown, and once again, this game is all tied up. But just when you thought the Cats had some momentum, LD Bell went and did this. Landry Choate, he gone for the 39-yard touchdown with less than $1.30 left in the half. LD Bell would go into the break up 21-14. Third quarter now, Cats with the rock and knocking on the door. Malachi to the kid that's been making some serious waves this season, Jalen Leifesty, who finds a pocket and takes it from there with a 20-yard touchdown to tie it up at 21. Well, about 6 to go in the third quarter, LD Bell facing third and long, a momentum shifter here as the Bobcats come up with a huge stop, forcing a Bell punt. Next Central drive, the Cats capitalize. Mao to Christian Gabaldon. When these receivers get going, Central is tough to stop. A few plays later, the Cats finish off the drive with a 1-yard Brown touchdown to go up 28-21. Fourth quarter, Central with the rock. Mao drops back looking for Landry Burns, but instead finds Ethan Shackman, and as you can tell, not the right guy. Blue Raiders take over. But the Bobcats defense says, "We got you, Malachi." It all starts with Cesar Saldana getting pressure on the QB1. The ball behind the line of scrimmage. Central recovers for a big-time takeaway. Very next play. How about a big cover one welcome to Ashton Hartsfield? Dude, taking it up the gut and going 68 yards to the house. If that's not a Community Medical Center play of the game nominee, not sure what is. Central up 28-21. But Hartsfield not done yet. Maybe it was the mullet haircut. I don't know. Next Cats drive, they give it to him again, and he knows what to do with it, taking it 16 yards to the house. Let's check that Texas Bank scoreboard as the Central Bobcats stack up 4 touchdowns in the second half, while defensively pulling off a shutout as they get the dub 42-21 over LD Bell. 424 yards of total offense from the Bobcats, 200 through the air, 224 on the ground. Coming up after the break, the old ball coach along with Mr. Hartsfield himself talk about the win and staying in the playoff hunt.
What can you say about that second half shutout?
I mean, we went inside. Our defensive coaches did a good job of figuring out what they were kind of doing to us there in the first half. We did a great job in the second half of shutting them out.
How does it feel to get back on track after falling last week?
Feels great, man. I mean, you know, we play good at home. And when we have people at home, it's a big advantage for us. You know, we got 3 wins now in district, so that goes a long ways to getting in. I don't think we're in yet, but after next week's open date, I think we'll know a lot more.
Big game tonight, 2 on the ground. What were you thinking coming into the game?
It's going to be cold. We got to play hard. Thought we were going to pass a lot. Might get a couple runs, but didn't know what was going to bust too.
With a big win like this, how does it feel to get that momentum back from the loss last week?
Feels good. Feel like we can win the next one, make the playoffs, see how far we can go from there.
What did this win mean for y'all?
It's time for the Community Medical Center play of the game. Should be no surprise here as we show some love to the bruiser, Ashton Hartsfield, and his majestic mullet. I tell you, all he needs is a 69 Camaro and some Motley Crue blaring in the Alpine. Well, the kid got loose on this 68-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, which truly separated the Bobcats from the Blue Raiders. He was also good for a 14-yard score later in the frame, but it was the 68-yarder that's good for this week's Community Medical Center play of the game. Well, let's face it, the odds aren't exactly on the side of the San Angelo Central Bobcats heading into the must-win regular season finale against Holton. The road hasn't been friendly to the Bobcats this season, with the lone victory away from San Angelo coming against El Paso Pebble Hills. Not to mention, no telling which Holton team the Cats will see next Friday, the one that upset Trinity or the one that took a loss to Abilene High. Nonetheless, if you go back to the win against Pebble Hills, in which the Cats traveled over 800 miles round trip to overcome a 25-point deficit, says plenty. Battling the road trip was one thing, but putting it together when it counted the most was another. Like Friday's win over LD Bell, not 1 point was allowed in the second half, which screams volumes for this defense. Central has been in some tight spots this season, and one thing you gotta love is the fight that never ends. After all, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and at this point, the Bobcats are still standing. A 42-21 win over LD Bell sure gave the Bobcats a chance to breathe heading into the bye week. Central has this week off as they get ready for the regular season finale in what looks to be a do-or-die game against Holton. Win and you're in, lose and you stay home. Meanwhile, the Bobcats may not be in action this week, but hey, no worries. We still got your Cover 1 Bobcats coverage lined up for you, as this week we'll be hanging out with the Arlington Martin Warriors as they take on Fort Worth Pascal. Now, Martin looks to be a first-round playoff matchup for the Bobcats if Central can find a way to take down Holton in the regular season finale. Arlington Martin looks to be a pretty solid team, if you ask me. All right, before we leave you tonight, we can't say goodbye without showing you those W&W AFCO Steel sounds of the game, courtesy of Mr. Matt Trammell. Enjoy those. All right, for the San Angelo Live in Cover 1 crew, I'm Manny Diaz. God bless. We'll see you in Week 10.
From the Upward Football Program, from the San Angelo Recreation Department,
winners do. That's what guys that go through all the offseason you guys go through. That's why we do it. You understand? Awesome job. No quitting us, period.